Hardly anyone expects an 8-year-old kid to turn an entire courtroom upside down, to rewrite the rules in a city as big as Atlanta. What I'm about to tell you isn't just a story about justice, it's about courage, sharp intellect, and a stubborn belief that the truth matters, even when you're just a kid. It all started one crisp autumn afternoon in Oakwood Heights, a longtime black neighborhood on Atlanta's east side. Franklin Jackson, 67, a man who'd marched alongside civil rights activists decades ago, was just helping a white woman carry her groceries at the Simmons convenience store. Then, out of nowhere, police stormed in and arrested him on the spot, accusing him of robbing that very store. The owner, Ronald Simmons, a white man clinging to his father's business and old prejudices, pointed his finger right at Franklin, even though the security footage clearly showed a younger man committing the robbery. But no one cared. The cops grabbed Franklin roughly, ignoring his protests about a recent shoulder surgery. "I'm just helping this lady," he pleaded, but they cuffed him tight and pushed back the gathering neighbors with threats. Across the street stood Elijah Franklin's 8-year-old grandson, watching with wide, terrified eyes. Elijah had lost both parents in a car accident 3 years earlier, and Franklin was everything to him. Now, seeing his guardian treated like a criminal, his world cracked open. In the days that followed, everything felt like a nightmare on repeat. The public defender barely looked at Franklin's case, pushing him to take a plea deal, a quick 5 years instead of a harsh sentence despite his innocence. Elijah knew the system wasn't built for people like his grandfather, and the community's attempts to help barely made a dent. Bail was set impossibly high, the trial looming. But Elijah wasn't about to sit this one out. He devoured his grandfather's old law books, precious relics from Franklin's dream of becoming a lawyer, a dream deferred by segregation and hardship decades ago. With a fire burning inside him, Elijah made a vow. "I'm going to bring you home, Grandpa. I promise." Elijah wasn't an ordinary kid. By age 3, he was reading aloud from newspapers, shocking his parents. By 4, he was tearing through books meant for middle schoolers. His parents, both educators, had warned him early, "Your mind is a gift, but some folks will be scared of your light. Sometimes you gotta dim it." Elijah learned fast that the world was not always kind to a brilliant black boy. After his parents' death, Franklin stepped up to raise Elijah, continuing a legacy of education and resilience. Together, they dreamed of justice. Now, that dream was tested like never before. With the help of Mrs. Washington, their elderly neighbor, and Judge Harold Thompson, a retired black judge who recognized Elijah's rare intellect, they prepared an unprecedented legal move. Elijah filed to become his grandfather's legal advisor in court. When Elijah stood up in court and challenged the prosecution's evidence, quoting federal rules of evidence and constitutional law, the courtroom fell silent. Judge Whitman, known for his harsh sentencing of black defendants, tried to silence him, but Elijah's calm, precise voice broke through. It was a shock no one saw coming. News of the kid lawyer spread like wildfire. DA Victoria Reynolds, with her political ambitions and perfect record against black defendants, doubled down, manipulating evidence, coaching witnesses, even pressuring the community to withdraw support. The system pushed back hard. Then came a game changer. Catherine Sullivan, a high-profile civil rights attorney with a personal history of wrongful conviction in her family, stepped in to defend Franklin. With Elijah as her consultant, they challenged the corrupt setup head-on. Throughout the trial, Elijah guided Franklin through relentless cross-examinations, exposing fabricated evidence, contradictions in witness statements, and racial bias. Detective Mercer, the lead investigator with a history of questionable arrests, was cornered on the stand. Under Elijah's subtle coaching, Franklin exposed glaring inconsistencies that left jurors visibly shaken. The tension in the courtroom was thick, every question a calculated strike against a system built to crush men like Franklin. Yet Judge Whitman tried repeatedly to shut down the defense, obstructing justice with every gavel bang. Outside, media and public attention surged. Elijah's unlikely role inspired many, but also made him a target. Threats arrived, warnings whispered in the dark. Yet Elijah remained unshaken, telling those around him, "They only threaten when they're afraid of the truth." Behind the scenes, evidence surfaced linking the supposed robbery to a property development scheme. The convenience store was caught in the crosshairs of corporate interests tied to D.A. Reynolds' own family, aiming to push out black homeowners like Franklin to gentrify Oakwood Heights. In a dramatic courtroom twist, Franklin and Elijah exposed this conspiracy, revealing collusion between city officials, developers, and law enforcement, all designed to silence community voices and seize land under false pretenses. The courtroom showdown was a battle not just for Franklin's freedom, but for justice itself. So what do you think? Does our justice system treat everyone equally, regardless of race and background? Or is it still riddled with prejudice and power plays? Share your thoughts below. If this story moved you, please hit like and subscribe to follow Elijah's incredible journey, a shining example of how truth and courage can prevail, even against the darkest odds.